Good morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, icy roads cause crashes around the state. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
About what options are out there to make a measurable impact on our energy challenges, it's hard to think of a better solution than a project like Northern Pass.
Cars slowly move up and down Kimball Hill Road in Hudson, icy conditions making it difficult to drive. An officer was positioned at the top of the road, warning drivers as they approached the steep hill. Hudson police say as the sun went down and temperatures dropped, calls for accidents started coming in.
About 6 o'clock tonight, we started getting calls for the roads icing up. So we, in about an hour time frame around then, we responded to 6 state reportable accidents, as well as numerous calls for icy roads and cars off the road.
Luckily, no injuries were reported with each accident.
Prior to getting all these calls, we had already contacted DPW to let them know that the roads were icing up and they were out salting the roads.
It was the same situation in a number of surrounding towns. Police in Pelham and Londonderry had half a dozen accidents in their own towns. Authorities in Ware also reported numerous vehicles off the road, the ice bringing vehicles to a standstill on parts of Route 114. Nashua, Salem, and Manchester getting the word out on social media, warning their residents to take it easy. Something Lieutenant Kayot says every driver needs to do when traveling in conditions like tonight.
Just have everyone slow down. The roads are icing up, the temperatures dropped, so they just need to be careful out there.
And that's kind of the message both for tonight and tomorrow morning as you head out to work and school. Now, just on another note, Salem police are asking their residents not to call 911 to report icy conditions. They say their dispatch center has been inundated with calls, and they are asking folks to use their business line instead. Reporting tonight here in Hudson, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. So just take it easy this morning as you head into work. Driver killed, passenger ejected after car crash over Quincy Sea Wall. One person is dead after a serious multi-vehicle crash in Quincy. State police said a trooper pulled over a vehicle on Quincy Shore Drive shortly after 9 p.m. Monday for motor vehicle violations. As the trooper was processing the motor vehicle stop, police said the suspect took off at a high rate of speed. Police said the car was speeding down Quincy Shore Drive in the area of Caddy Memorial Park when it sideswiped one car and crashed into another before rolling over the sea wall. The vehicle ended up on the beach with the driver trapped inside. State police said moments later the trooper came upon the crash and found a woman had been ejected from the vehicle. The woman was taken to Boston Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver, identified as an adult male, was pronounced dead at the scene. State police said the driver of one of the vehicles involved was also taken to Boston Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the side-swipe car was not injured. The crash remains under investigation. Woman headed to Maine hospital to have baby killed in crash. Let's take a listen to this video from WMTW News 8 in Maine.
It's always been a lifelong dream for me to be my own business owner. What was attractive to me about the Allstate opportunity was that it created the platform for me to build equity into this business. Whether our children decide to get into the business or whether we decide to sell it at some point, we're creating that sense of security, which I think is really, really important.
Well, Tracy, the police chief told us that in addition to that mother and her unborn child, there were also 2 other people in the car at the time of the crash early this morning. Now, that mother was driving the car here along Route 2 heading into Skowhegan, and you can see the trail in the snow from where that car went off the road. Police say that she hit some black ice. Then because of the snow built up along these banks, the car flipped over and landed on the pond that's down here behind us. Now, police say that that 27-year-old mother was behind the wheel and was very badly injured and eventually died from those injuries. But police say the man in the passenger seat, they believe, was the father of that unborn child. He suffered serious injuries in the crash. Now, there was also an 8-year-old child in the car at the time, but police aren't sure of her relation to the couple, and they say her injuries from the crash are not life-threatening. Now, the chief says that that infant that's now in critical condition in Bangor was given a chance thanks to those first responders.
We're minutes from just about everywhere here in Skowhegan, as well as Reddington Fairview's rescue units who responded. So by the time officers arrived on scene, they were being followed right up by the rescue units and the fire department who assisted on scene with us.
And because of that situation, police are reminding everyone tonight to take it slow along these roads, especially as the temperatures drop here in Skowhegan. Police say they responded to another serious crash involving a pedestrian around noontime. And just about half an hour ago, we saw a van skid off the road and into the snowbank right here along Route 2 near this same intersection. So keep an eye out for black ice if you are heading out tonight. Now, police are still investigating more details in this crash and haven't identified anybody involved as they await response and notification of all of those families. Live in Skowhegan, Joe Glauber, WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. There are 2 types of Bitcoin investor, and we need to protect one of them, UBS chairman says. USB believes that Bitcoin is a speculative investment and is not advertising its clients to invest in the digital currency. The bank's chairman told CNBC Tuesday. Trump signs funding bill to end shutdown. Immigration debate continues. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
At last, my love has come along.
We are
are here in the nation's capital because of the government shutdown. Today was day 3, and then Senate Democrats deciding to give in on the Dreamers, with a promise from Senate Republicans that they'll take up the issue soon. The Senate voting to end the shutdown, and then just moments ago, the House voting to follow suit. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell emerging triumphant. Democratic Minority Leader Chuck Schumer emerging with a promise from McConnell that they will tackle immigration and the Dreamers. But this showdown ends not without costing U.S. taxpayers millions and costing political capital, too, with so many Americans seeing the political dysfunction yet again. And by the way, this new funding to get the government back open only lasts 3 weeks. ABC's Mary Bruce leads us off from the Hill tonight.
Moments after they voted to reopen the government, the Republican leader with a gleeful thumbs up, the Democratic leader beaming. Lawmakers of both parties toasting their success, giddy before reporters.
We just want to celebrate that government has reopened.
By opening up the government, we stopped losing.
It's a far cry from how the day began, a total stalemate.
We just need to have a little bit more clarity.
You have to recognize that you can't make guarantees here.
After a weekend of brutal finger pointing.
This will be called the Trump shutdown.
He got what he wanted, a shutdown, a Trump shutdown.
But from Republicans,
day 1 of the Senate Democrats' government shutdown,
the Schumer shutdown.
Democrats wanted a deal on the Dreamers, those nearly 800,000 undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as children. President Trump said the shutdown was hurting the military, bringing this response from Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth, who lost both her legs while serving in Iraq.
And I will not be lectured about what our military needs by a 5 deferment draft dodger.
Late this morning, a breakthrough. Senate Democrats agreed to end the shutdown by temporarily funding the government for 3 weeks. What they got in return, a promise. Senate Republicans vowing to work on a solution for Dreamers.
it would be my intention to take up legislation here in the Senate that would address DACA, border security, and related issues.
Are you confident that Mitch McConnell's going to keep his word?
McConnell made a pledge in front of the world, so we're counting on him, and I think he will. I hope he will.
A lot of what comes next depends on President Trump. Back in 2013, he said it was a president's job to lead negotiations in a shutdown.
Well, very simply, you have to get everybody in a room. You have to be a leader. The president has to lead. You have to be nice and be angry and be wild and cajole and do all sorts of things, but you have to get a deal.
But Trump was relatively absent from negotiations. The White House releasing this photo of him working the phones at an empty desk. But he didn't make a single call this weekend to Democrats.
The great deal-making president sat on the sidelines.
But the White House today sounded satisfied.
What the president did clearly worked. The vote just came in 81-18. I would say that those numbers are much more in the president's favor than in Senator Schumer's favor.
The question now is another shutdown looming in just 3 weeks. By one estimate, just 1 day of a shutdown costs more than $900 million.
So let's get to Mary Bruce. She's live on the Hill tonight. And Mary, Senate Republic.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that did it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.